Let me clarify some terminology with you, please. 3 different, I'll call them processes. One you call segment intending, one you call having a workshop, and one you speak of sometimes in the terms of other people's words, they call it meditation. Would you clarify what the differences are and the purposes are of those 3 experiences?
Each of the 3 that you have offered have different intentions. And so your question fits in perfectly with our subject of segment intending, for as you were about to enter into either of these 3 processes, it is a good idea to know why you are entering in and what you are expecting from. A time of meditation, by your terms, is a segment in which you are intending to quiet your conscious thinking mechanism in order to sense the inner world. It is a time of physical distraction or detachment from physical, that you may sense that which goes beyond the physical. There are different reasons for this detachment, and it is important that as you are entering this segment that you identify what your reason is. Your reason in this segment of meditation may be that you are simply wanting a detachment from the world that is confusing or troubling you. You are wanting some time of refreshment. When we encourage meditation, it is with the intent of allowing the opening of your passageway, that you may blend the inner you that exists in the inner dimension with the conscious physical you that is here in this physical body. Mm-hmm. In short, it is withdrawing your focus from the physical conscious world and allowing your focus to drift into the inner world. A workshop is a segment where you are intending to give specific and precise thought to the details of what you are wanting, to bring forth by law of attraction clarity. In other words, you are wanting to ponder with such specificness that you bring forth the power of the universe to speed your creation. The workshop is the time in which you give such clear thought that you literally launch your creation. Mm-hmm. In this physical world in which you live, you cannot have the physical experience until you have created it first in thought. And so the workshop is that place where you give deliberate thought, that you begin the deliberate attraction of the thing or things that you want. Segment intending is simply recognizing that you are moving into a segment where what you are intending is different from the last, and stopping to identify what you are wanting. Through all of this, what we are wanting you to understand is how it is you may be the deliberate creator or the deliberate attractor or the deliberate inviter of that which comes into your experience. Mm-hmm. There are 2 major hindrances to that. One is influence of others who may have different intentions than you do, and the other is the influence of your own old habits. Even the influence of the momentum of the segment that is just before this segment, you see. And so segment intending is the recognizing that this is a different segment so that you may set forth now your intent of what you are wanting.
I've heard you say or suggest that we get happy before we begin intending. Could you give us some different ways of consciously generating joy or bringing forth positive emotion?
Before we do, we are wanting to point out the great value in being happy before you are setting forth your intent. You are understanding the law of attraction, for we have mentioned it here. You are magnets, and the way you feel is your point of attraction. Mm-hmm. And so if you are feeling unhappy, if you are giving thought to that which you are not wanting, which is what is bringing forth the unhappiness, then you are a magnet attracting more of that. And so there is great value in being happy, for only from the point of being happy can you attract that which you are wanting. Each of you will find a different way of going about it, and each of you know what brings you that feeling of upliftment or happiness. For many of you, it is music that is in harmony with you. Mm-hmm. And you may have noticed that that music makes you happy in the beginning, but in time it does not make you so happy. And so it is of value to look for many ways so that you may try that fresh, new approach to bringing forth that feeling of happiness. For some, it is reading a passage in a book. For some, it is calling a friend who is uplifting. There are many ways of doing it. Take notice of that which uplifts you and remember it. And then when you are specifically wanting to be uplifted, do that.
Mm-hmm. Good. You've also said that we can be happy under most conditions. But how is that accomplished under extremely negative conditions?
You can be happy only under the condition of giving thought to what you are wanting. You can be happy under all conditions once you are clear enough and strong enough in your wanting to give your attention only to what you are wanting.
So what if there's somebody that's very close to you, that's giving you, you might say, a hard time about something, and you're wanting to please them? So in other words, it gives you a feeling of guilt to not do what they're wanting.
It is true. It is more difficult to remain happy or positive when you are surrounded by others who are not, or when you are surrounded or involved with those who are wanting something different from you than you are wanting to give to them. Mm-hmm. But what we have noticed as we have been interacting with physical man is that while he may have an experience that lasts 5 or 10 minutes, and while that experience may be unpleasant and uncomfortable, the majority of his negative emotion comes forth not during the time of that negative experience, but in all the hours that he ponders and chews upon it after the experience.
That's true.
There is much more of your time spent in thought of what happened than in the actuality of what is happening. And so it is our belief that the majority of your negative emotion could be eliminated if you would focus upon what you are wanting to think about when you are alone. And in those briefer encounters, in that smaller part of your life experience where you are actually being harassed by another, you will grow stronger in your ability to not notice the harassment so much.
Mm-hmm.